Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really powerful idea from the book Cognitive Dividend, and it's this. What if the secret to success isn't about finding another productivity hack, but about a fundamental upgrade to the way you think?
So let's just dive right in. We've all been there, haven't we? You read the latest success book, you try that new system, you download the shiny new app, and nothing. The promised results just never show up. So what's the deal? Are all these methods just broken?
Well, the book gives us this fantastic metaphor to think about it. Imagine your brain is like a smartphone. The problem isn't the new apps you're trying to install, all those success formulas and strategies. Nope. The real problem is that your internal operating system is just too old and clunky to run them properly.
So what does that mean for us? It means before we can even think about running those powerful new apps for success, we have to perform a system upgrade. And the very first step is diagnosing the problem, our brain's outdated OS.
Okay, let's break this down a bit. Think of it like this. Your mental hardware is all about your core concepts. These are your foundational beliefs about how the world actually works. Then you've got your operating system. That's your collection of thinking models, basically the software you use to process everything. And here's the kicker. If either of those is out of date, even the absolute best apps in the world are going to crash and burn.
All right, so let's tackle that first major upgrade, the hardware. This means we've got to rewire one of the most fundamental concepts we all deal with, and that's our definition of wealth.
You see, the old hardware, that outdated concept, tells us that wealth is just a number, having $1 million or 10 million sitting in the bank. But thinking this way, it's a recipe for anxiety. You're always focused on what you don't have, and there's no real, clear path to get there.
But now, here comes the hardware upgrade. The new definition flips this whole idea on its head. The goal is not a number in a bank account anymore. The real goal is autonomy. It's about gaining control over your single most valuable non-renewable asset, which of course is your time.
And that one simple shift, it completely reframes the entire problem. You stop asking, how do I get more money? And you start asking, how do I create income that's independent of my time? And just like that, you're in a totally different world. You're thinking about systems, leverage, assets. A whole new universe of solutions opens up.
Okay, so our conceptual hardware is upgraded. Check. Now it's time to install that brand new operating system. Let's dig into a really powerful thinking model for how you can generate value, the 4 modes of time.
So this model basically lays out 4 different ways you can monetize your time, and each step up offers a huge leap in leverage. Now most people, we start out and honestly, we get stuck in retail mode. That's just trading 1 hour of your time for one chunk of pay. The real goal here is to start moving up that chain.
And that very first leap, the one from retail to wholesale, that is the absolute game changer. Why? Because when you create something once that you can sell over and over again, think about a book or an online course or a piece of software, you shatter that direct link between the hours you work and the money you earn. And that is where exponential growth really kicks in.
All right, so think about where we are. Your internal system is upgraded. You've got new hardware, a new OS. Now, finally, you can get to the fun part, developing your own unique value, your personal killer app.
See, the goal isn't just to be the best player on a super crowded field. That's a losing game. The real goal is to create your very own field, one where you're the only player. The big question, of course, is how on earth do you do that?
Well, think about it. If you're good at just one thing, let's say you're a fantastic programmer, you're always going to be competing with thousands of other fantastic programmers. It's just a constant race to the top of the same old ladder. But what happens when you start combining skills? So maybe you're a good programmer who also happens to be a great public speaker, and you have a weirdly deep knowledge of 18th century pottery. Now, you might not be the #1 best in the world at any single one of those things, but that combination, that totally unique blend of skills, that makes you a category of 1. And that, right there, is where you find genuine scarcity. Okay, so you've got your upgraded OS. You're working on your killer app. There's just one final piece to this puzzle, and that's connecting your unique value to the network to leverage forces that are way bigger than just you.
And there's this really beautiful analogy for this idea. It goes, a leaf falls not because of the winds or the tree, but because of the season. Think about that. Your individual effort, that's the wind or the tree. But the season, that's the massive, unstoppable trend that's happening all around you. That's what really determines the outcome. So what this really means is that success isn't just about grinding it out and working hard. It's about developing the vision to see where the world is actually going. It's about spotting that change in seasons before anyone else and positioning your unique value to ride that massive wave instead of trying to fight against it.
So, your cognitive OS is upgraded. You're ready to go. The only real question left is, with this new power, what trend will you create? Thanks for watching this explainer.